Hello, Seahawk families. This is Dr. Courtney Robinson, the principal at Ocean View High School. I wanted to take some time to run through a PowerPoint with our families and students that details information on what to expect when our students return to campus. This will be for our IDEA students that return on October 5th and for the rest of our student body that comes back on November 3rd. This PowerPoint is very long and detailed, and I'm not going to read through every single slide. I just want to point out some of the highlights for you so you know what we've been doing behind the scenes to get ready for your return to campus. At the beginning of this PowerPoint, there's a lot of slides that might look familiar. Many of these slides were already shared with our district's reopening plan that was sent out at the end of August. The biggest takeaway from this slide right here is to keep in mind all of the things that we want to do to stay healthy and stop the spread of COVID-19 on our campus. For example, we will be wearing face masks. We will have plenty at our school site in case you forget it. We're going to be asking students to wash hands. We have some hand washing stations. We're going to have hand sanitizer all over the school. Many, many different items in order to protect our students. Again, to emphasize, the health and safety of our students, staff, and families is the most important thing that we are focusing on for our students to return to campus. Things are going to look very different than in years past, but this will be a slow transition until at some point, hopefully, when our state and county return to the final stage. One big thing we're asking all families to do at home this year is to screen at home. So please, every morning, students, before you come to school, check that temperature, make sure that you don't have a fever of over 100.4, and look for all of these symptoms that are on this list here and make sure that you are not feeling any of these symptoms. And if you are, we are asking you please to stay home. And it may not be COVID that you have. It could be a flu, it could be a cold, whatever it is. We just want to make sure that we're safe. There is an opportunity to watch from home for your classes online, so we want you to do that if you're having any of these symptoms on this screen here. Please, please do not come to school if you have any of these symptoms that you see here on the screen. Fevers, difficulty breathing, body aches, fatigue. You can see the rest of the items here. Again, please do not come to school if you're experiencing any of these symptoms. If you do come down with symptoms and you happen to be on campus, we do have a designated waiting area on our campus that is close to a restroom that we're going to ask students to wait until they can be picked up by a parent or guardian. We will coordinate with our Orange County Healthcare Agency regarding suspected and confirmed cases, and we'll be working directly with our school nurse, the individual and their family to notify and to do contact tracing should we need to. If we do have a positive COVID-19 case on our campus during the day, we will follow these following protocols on this slide here. We must follow all state and local laws and regulations. School administrators and nurses will notify local health officials, staff, and our families if there's any COVID-19 cases that have been confirmed positive that occurred with students on our campus. We will absolutely continue to maintain student confidentiality. We'll work to identify any individual who may have been in close contact with this person within 6 feet or 15 minutes or more of a period of time around that person of an affected person and take steps to isolate the COVID-19 positive person and close contacts. Our district students, staff, and families who have been potentially exposed to a positive COVID-19 case will also be notified. These notifications will be completed by our administration in consultation with our nurse. In addition, any positive COVID-19 cases may lead to the closure of a classroom, multiple classrooms, or even as a school. All of this will be determined by our district administration while working with the Orange County Healthcare Agency. This slide here details information for what we would do after a diagnosis of COVID-19 and how you would return to school, so please make sure you take a look at this slide. When you come to school, now we're getting to the stuff that's really important and specific as well for Ocean View High School. Please remember, all student and staff members will be required to wear face coverings. Parents and visitors will have extremely limited access to our campus. We will have signage all over the school to designate entrances and separate exits. And we'll have signage throughout the school to emphasize hand washing, how we stop spreading germs, and how we keep social distancing. Here's the procedures for arrival and drop off, please. Students will be dropped off in one of two pickup and drop-off zones on our campus. The first one is the Warner parking lot, which is in front of the gym. And the second zone is the internal parking lot, which will actually take you down closer to our 900 portables and our fields. This lot you can enter just beyond our pool. Please do not drop off any student in the Gothard parking lot. We are trying to limit the number of entrances into our school campus, and these are the 2 lots that we're asking all families to drop off their students, please. Drop off, pickup, and entrance and exit map. This is just a brief map. We're going to actually have more signage within our buildings that shows you the different entrance and exit points throughout our campus that students will be doing. We're also going to do a video actually walking through the school that we will send out to our students prior to coming so they can see which doors will be for entering and which doors will be for exiting. We will also have signage within the building for different hallways on which door goes in, for example, like the 300 hallway, and which way will go out that 300 hallway. So please, students, be mindful of these entrances and exits as we're trying to maintain a safe environment and social distancing for all of our students. Our main goal is to keep all students moving outside of the building and not inside of the building. Yes, that means you might have to put on an extra 10,000 steps during the day. Okay, maybe not that many, but we are asking for all of our safety for students to be walking around the school with as much limited access to inside the building as possible while we're passing from class to class. Visitor policies. We're going to continue campus visits by appointment only. Please, if you are a visitor, you're required to park in the Gothard parking lot and you are to check in at the front office. Any visitor must wear a mask and you must follow social distancing rules. Please call the number you see on the screen if you need to schedule a visit onto our campus. Attendance and communication. Anytime your child is absent from class or a period for any reason, please keep calling our attendance office to clear that absence. You absolutely can email teachers to let them know that a student might be out, but it is not the teacher's responsibility to clear those absences. Please make sure you call our attendance lines, and they are on the slide here for you. This slide also shows you what some of those numbers and codes mean when we take attendance, and they've changed. Our county guidance has changed a little bit. So what we did is we gave you guys a little key on the bottom there for the different codes so you understand what they all mean. Food, nutrition services. We're still going to be doing grab and go lunches. Even when students are back, they are not allowed to stay on campus to eat. You must grab your food and leave. Same days, Monday through Friday, 12:30 to 1:30, and any student or community member 18 and under is still eligible for a free lunch. Face coverings and PPE, like I said before, you absolutely must use your face covering while you're in the classroom, while you're waiting to enter campus, while on school grounds, except for if you're taking a drink out of your water bottle or eating, while leaving the school, and if you take the bus. We will provide personal protective equipment to all staff and students who need them. We have face shields, even for students, that will be available upon request, and we also have face coverings. You can bring your own, but we will have some here as well if you forget it during that day. We do have some students that may be exempt from wearing a face covering, but they must have a documented medical condition, mental health condition, or disability that prevents them from wearing one. All of these students have already been identified. If you feel like your child needs to be in this identified as well, please call the school and we can walk through that process with you. Other safety considerations. All of our staff members have completed a mandatory COVID-19 online training. Campuses will follow guidelines developed by the CDPH for cleaning, disinfecting, and ventilating our schools. All of our common touch areas and surfaces will be cleaned regularly throughout the day. We will have multiple hand washing stations throughout campus. We will also have water bottle filling stations. So please, students, if you have a water bottle, bring it and you can fill it up there. We'll have hand sanitizer. We are going to limit all sharing of supplies. As a matter of fact, we won't be sharing supplies. So please bring anything that you might need with you, but bring what you need. Pens, pencils, paper. You may bring a backpack. Keep what you need with you. And as always, you should be bringing your Chromebooks with you to school as well. Physical distancing, again, we're going to have signage everywhere that shows entrances and exits, and we are asking all students to keep away from each other with at least 6 feet of distance. Safety considerations for students with disabilities. Students with sensory, cognitive, and behavioral needs will not necessarily be required to wear facial coverings, but they're encouraged to use a face shield or covering if possible. Students who are deaf and hard of hearing will not be required to wear the facial coverings. And students who are on IEPs who have access to a virtual model if students' family deems necessary. And school personnel will closely work with families of students who are immunocompromised regarding specific needs of their children when returning to school. For our staff, we also have outlined some different considerations for you on this slide when you're working with our students with disabilities. Transportation. We do have some students that will be using transportation to get to school, and all of the same rules will apply, from physical distancing. We're going to fill the buses from the back to the front. The drivers will be trained on how to clean. We'll be disinfecting. Drivers and students will be wearing their face coverings, and PPE kits will also be provided to our bus drivers. Here is our online or hybrid schedule, with our students that are returning to school. So on Monday, all students will continue to go to school online. So you'll be logging into all your classes on Mondays. Then cohort 1 will be coming to school on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. You can see the schedules here on the screen. Cohort 2, you will be continuing your learning online. You will be logging into the same class session that our students in the class will be on. Then on Thursday and Friday, those cohorts will flip. Cohort 2 will be on campus and cohort 1 will be online. We will be sending out which cohort 1 or 2 your student is on sometime next week. We are finalizing our numbers. We're moving things around to make sure they are as balanced as possible. And we are making sure that we can still maintain the 6 feet of social distancing within the classroom with our desks. So again, you will receive this information soon with your cohort. For all of our students that are online, this is a schedule you'll be following. You just log into the same classes with your same Zoom meetings or Google Meets meetings, just like you've been doing for the beginning of the year. Technology, we went one-to-one with our Chromebooks anyway last year. So students, when you're coming back to campus, please make sure you bring them with you in case there is some work you will be doing on your Chromebook during the day. We have our internet access, as you know, here we're Wi-Fi on campus, but also those hotspots. If you still need one, we have an application. Please call our school and we can make sure we get you a hotspot. Social emotional well-being of our students is a huge priority, and we have a lot of information. We've sent out multiple messages even throughout the summer. We have a great website where you can still sign into the iPad if you need to make an appointment, students, with one of our psychologists or counselors. There's also some 24/7 numbers through Care Solace on the screen that you can call. And always, students and families, if there's a medical emergency, especially when somebody's mental well-being is at stake, please call 911 immediately. Here's a screen that shows you our slide with all of our family resources for you. And then the last few slides are all some different posters, and actually you will see these versions of these posters throughout our campus that talks about symptoms of coronavirus or COVID-19, how we stop the spread of germs, how to take off your face mask and cloth covering safely and effectively, and so on and so forth. So families, thank you. Thank you for trusting us to take care of your students when they return to school. We absolutely miss them, and we cannot wait to see them back very soon. And everybody, always remember, you can't spell love without OV. We'll see everybody soon. Take care.